Hello and welcome. My name is Vriendt and today we're going to talk about how to improve your forecasting process with SAP IBP for demand. We have today with us Abdessamad Choukri, part of the supply chain management team at Flexso. Welcome, Abdes.
Thank you for having me.
Maybe to start off, what is the IBP for demand module all about?
Well, the SAP IBP for demand module is an SAP IBP module which provides advanced functionalities related to demand planning across different domains. So an example of one of these advanced functionalities would be lifecycle modeling. So this, for instance, is where you take into account phase-in and phase-out products during your demand planning process.
Okay, you were talking about different domains. Can you maybe explain a bit more on those domains and give some examples of functionalities in there?
So IBP for demand can roughly be classified into three big domains. So you have your preparation, pre-processing, and forecasting. So your preparation phase is actually where you get to know your data set. So IBP for demand can help here by providing forecast automation. This is a way to perform time series analysis on all your data set, on your whole data set. So then IBP classifies your data based on seasonality, trend, and type of demand that you have. Then you go over to your pre-processing. This is actually preparing your data to be forecasted on. IBP here can help with providing outlier correction, and specifically automated outlier correction. IBP uses here a voting mechanism for three different models. So it uses a proximity-based, probabilistic, and machine learning model to classify a data point into an outlier or not an outlier, and if necessary, corrects it accordingly. And then the last step is forecasting. So IBP for demand provides you with a lot of advanced forecasting models, which then can be used to make very advanced forecasts. So an example of this would be the S&OP module provides you with exponential smoothing models, so single, double, and triple exponential smoothing. The demand module provides you with one simple model, which is the automated exponential smoothing model. Here you just provide the data set to the model and it does the parameter optimization itself.
Okay, so it's really all about automation, less manual work in fact for a planner, specifically with cleansing is typically something that requires quite some effort from a planner. So automation and insight in data basically also, if you look to the analysis of the time series.
Exactly.
Okay, now does IBP demand also support some sort of machine learning in the IBP for demand module?
Yes. So a good example of machine learning in IBP for demand would be the gradient boosting of decision trees. This is a model that is mainly used for demand sensing, and this is quite an advanced model because it can take into account, for instance, nonlinear relationships. It can take into account relationships between two different key figures. So let's, for instance, say you have the temperature and the hour of the day, which are indeed related. The model can take that into account, and it can also take into account independent variables. So let's say you have an elevated demand during Christmas. You can give that in a binary variable to the model, and it can take that into account as well.
Yeah. Indeed, those additional variables also like the link between your sales history and promotions, for example, is something that you could model in that way. And even like can find links between those independent variables to improve your forecast. So if you want to go a step further than just univariate based on time series, it really makes sense. Now you have already mentioned it a bit before. If you look to S&OP, there are some differences with what you can do in demand. Now, why would a customer go for demand if you have already sales and operations planning?
Well, the S&OP module provides you a holistic view across your complete supply chain. As on the other hand, the demand module from IBP focuses mostly on your demand process. So as mentioned before, you have some capabilities which you can also perform with the S&OP module, but the IBP for demand module gives you way more capabilities and way more advanced capabilities related to demand.
Okay. Nowadays we have also a lot of AI agents or generative AI tools available in the market. Think about ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot. Is there also a Copilot available inside IBP?
Well, yes. So SAP has introduced SAP Joule. You can compare this indeed a bit to ChatGPT. It's a large language model which has been trained on the SAP help desk, and yeah, you can use it to have to ask it some questions, and then it can help you with the data of the SAP help desk.
Okay. And is it only the SAP help that is being loaded, or is there also a possibility to load into like, yeah, different documentation, because customers have more documentation, a lot of documentation available? Is that also something that can be used?
Yes. So for instance, you could connect it to the customer SharePoint, and then it can learn also on documentation that is, for instance, present in your SharePoint,
Okay.
and help you then specifically with those cases.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that the only step that AI will do, or that the copilot will do, or is there still some progress to be expected?
Well, SAP will roll out SAP Joule in 3 big steps. So you have the first step, which is the tell me how step. So this is now the model has been trained on your data, so you can ask it basic stuff. And that's the step where we are currently in. Then the second step would be the show me where step. So this is that it can actually refer to, for instance, a Fiori app. So let's say you're talking about forecasting models, it would refer to the managed forecasting model app in IBP. And then the last step is do this task. So in the last phase, you could actually tell SAP Joule, I want to create a forecasting model using this model and these parameters, and it will actually create the forecasting model for you.
Okay, so that's really going to change the way we interact, let's say, with the system. No longer apps or tiles or whatever, but we simply communicate with the system via the copilot. Okay, maybe to summarize, what would be like the key benefits for a customer to choose for IBP for demand?
Well, SAP IBP for demand is very time efficient. If you compare it to, for instance, the S&OP module for demand processes, it gives you the automated versions of some S&OP capabilities indeed. It gives you access to a lot of advanced forecasting models. So it widens your forecasting capabilities and thus as well which results in better forecast. And then lastly, which is very important, of course, the SAP IBP for demand module is a quality of life upgrade for your demand process.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for the insights. I think indeed that IBP for demand can really help customers bringing their, let's say, their forecasting process, and specifically then maybe everything related to the statistics, really to like a next level, and yeah, maybe take a next step in their IBP journey, let's say.
Exactly.
So thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me.